Let's put a plan in place today that's going to help you make 2025 your best year ever in your real estate career. Now, there's 4 major things we're going to talk about, and these are things that I use in my personal business. These are tactics and strategies that I personally did to sell over $1 million in GCI in just my first 2 years in the business. And we just hit our 5-year mark actually tomorrow on my team that has done over $600 million in volume just since 2020. So these are the 4 tactics that we use in order to make more money. So let's dive in. I'm going to give you the 4, and then I'm going to go into more detail on all of these. Now, they're not necessarily in any particular order other than I think this is what makes the most sense to talk about. So there's 4 different ways to make more money as a real estate agent. Number 1 is you can generate more leads. Number 2 is you can raise your average price point. Number 3 is you can convert the leads you have at a higher rate. And number 4 is you can earn higher commissions or fees on your actual deals that you do. Now you can do one, you could focus on doing one of these, you could focus on doing all of these, and here's going to be the tactics on each topic that I'm going to walk through. So let's first talk about probably the most common, most popular topic to talk about, which is just generating more leads. I think this is the easiest of all of the things to do. Of the 4 that we just talked about is generating more leads. So I'll rank these from easiest to hardest. And I'll give you some advice in here as well too. I'm going to give you the same advice that I give agents on my team. And one thing that we're talking about big with our company this year is we just do not, as real estate agents in general, not just our team, we just do not generate enough leads to do the amount of deals that we want to do. That's just the reality. My target for you, I'm going to set a target, and you can do this what you please. But if you're looking to make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 as a real estate agent, your target should be generating 5 leads every single week. That is going to get you to, I think, at least the 6-figure threshold. And as you get more and more experience, you're going to increase your other things we just talked about that'll get you to that $200,000 or $300,000 mark. But generating 5 new leads per week of people that actually want to contact with you or be in communication with you, I think that's the target. And I think most agents do somewhere between 1 and 2 per week. So not nearly enough. So here's the how. Now, there are a ton of different ways to generate leads as a real estate agent. I'm going to break this down into 4. It's really 2 different categories, but let's make it 4. And I'll probably put a chart up here on the screen. It's going to be ugly, but I just typed this out. There's 2 different types of leads. You have inbound leads, which are people coming to you, and then you have outbound leads, which is you going to people. So you have cold, and then you have somewhat warm. And then on top of that, you have free and paid, right? So if we throw this chart up here, I'll give you a few examples. Is inbound, let's go first, and let's talk about free, because I like free. Free inbound is social media and YouTube. Now there are more, I just didn't want to make a million bullet points. But I think everybody understands that if you post on social media, that is free. And if you post on YouTube, that is also free. Now it might, like, for example, I have a media team, I have video editing, there's some cost to it, so like freeze, I guess. But like open houses is something that you could also consider to be inbound as well too. And that is free. You have to buy some signs, you might have to buy some waters, whatever, but I think you get the point. So inbound is you're creating social media, you're creating YouTube videos, you're doing things that are bringing leads to you. Now, paid inbound would be social media ads, think YouTube ads, think Facebook, like Meta ads, Instagram, TikTok ads, whatever it might be. It could also be direct mail, but it also could be paid leads, like buying Zillow leads, buying Realtor.com, Homes.com is huge right now too. So all of these different sources can bring you inbound leads where people are coming to you. I have built my entire business off of inbound, and I've actually never done anything really meaningful on the outbound side. But outbound, let's start with free. You have door knocking, cold calling are 2 of the biggest ones in the real estate industry, where you are going and outbound prospecting. And the only way to do paid outbound prospecting that I can really think of is you hire people to do those things for you. Now, that's more advanced, not going to touch any of that with a 10-foot pole. But the reason for that is because there's a lot of different ways to generate leads. This isn't necessarily how to generate more leads. This is a how to make more money. So here's my advice to you in lead generation is whatever you're already doing that works, just do more of it. If you watch any of my content, you're going to hear this over and over and over and over and over and over. And I have to remind myself this constantly because with our company, like with my team, Onyx Homes, we do a very good job of online lead generation and conversion. So instead of doing new things like spending a ton of time and money on a direct mail campaign. I'd rather just take that time and money and put it into something that's already working, like our paid ads that we're running that generates hundreds and hundreds of leads every single month. That's something that we already know we can do. We already know it converts, and it's not something new that we're trying. So when you're walking through these inbound or outbound, it's really more of a style approach of, I personally like inbound. I don't like doing outbound at all. I don't do any outbound for recruiting. I don't do that. Frankly, I make these YouTube videos so that we get inbound to our team, Onyx Homes. By the way, if you're an agent in Southern California and you're looking for the best team around, you can go to onyxhomes.com/agent and you can learn more. Or if you're an agent anywhere and you want to learn more about how we do business, how we sell houses, our sales process, I have an entire sales masterclass inside of our school community, totally free. Go to onyxhomes.com/school and you can join totally for free there. Anyway, that is how you create inbound lead flow. People who are interested in this stuff, basically the content that you're making, and little shameless plug there as well too. So how do I do this? So I make this YouTube channel for inbound for my real estate team, but I also make YouTube videos that are consumer facing. We have a YouTube channel called All About Orange County, and our goal here is to generate leads that want to work with us, and a lot of them end up being relocation from out of area. So how do we do this? Well, I post 2 YouTube videos every single week, and we're thinking about going to 3. So if you're thinking about doing YouTube, don't do 1 video, do 2, or I would recommend probably doing 3. I spend about 1 or 2 hours in preparations for each video. That includes, for me, my marketing manager writing scripts and stuff like that. There's about an hour included per video for filming, and that it's videos and filming the video, the different takes, whatever it actually takes to put the video together. I would earmark about an hour. And I always, when I'm time blocking, I always like to go longer on the time blocking so that if it only takes me 20 minutes, I'm not running out. I want to be very realistic with what's on my calendar. And then if you are editing yourself, great. If you don't know how to edit, either don't edit the video or hire somebody out on Fiverr. If you're not making, you've probably, if you've watched any of my content, you've heard this advice before, is that if you're not making $100,000, you shouldn't be spending any money. And that includes on social media. So if you're making over $100,000 and you want to set aside $1,000 a month or $500 a month for video editing, I'd recommend going to a company like Fiverr and finding a video editor. We did that for the first 2 years of content before we hired video editing in-house. So all of that, do that for 90 days. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to review at the end of the 90 days. You're going to have posted 2 videos every single week. So you've probably posted about 25 to 30 videos or so. If you're doing 3 a week, you're going to be closer to the 35-40 mark, which is why I recommend doing 3, because you're going to learn what works better, faster. So at the end of the 90 days, you're going to look at the 25 to 40 videos you posted, not made, posted, and you're going to figure out what worked best. You're going to figure out what style the audience liked, what gained you more followers, what gained you more likes, or God forbid, what generated you the most leads, right? And I'm giving you an example of YouTube, but there's no difference here on open houses. If you do open houses, do them every Saturday and Sunday. Do them from 12 to 5, not 1 to 4. Don't do it 1 day a week, do it 2. You could even throw doing Friday evening in there as well too. So whatever your lead source is, pick what you're already doing and then do it more. Do more of what is already working. And then you can work on doing it better, right? So these little iterations over and over and over. You can do this for social media as well too. You can do this for door knocking, right? Let's talk about outbound. Is you don't knock on 10 doors, you knock on 100. You don't make 10 cold calls a day, you make 100 cold calls a day. And at the end of the week, you're going to have done 500. Now, for iterating on your outbound, is you're going to say, if you have a script that you already know works, great, use it. If you don't know for sure what the best script is, use one for knock on 100 doors and say one script one day and use a different script the next day. See what worked better. Or use a script for the whole week and versus the next week you use a different script. You're gonna have a pretty good idea of which one worked better very fast. But if you're doing 5-10 doors at a time, it's just never gonna happen. So when it comes down to lead generation, you have to make sure you are generating 5 new leads every single week. And it probably takes more work than you're used to doing. And that is why the agents that make the most money make way more money than everybody else, is because they're always generating new leads. So that is rinse and repeat. This is the rule of 100, where whatever it is that you're doing, it's 100 minutes, 100 outbounds, 100 whatever it is, but you're doing at least 100 of them per day. Now, the next thing is you can raise your price point. I personally hate this because so many agents make these two massive mistakes, especially new agents. I don't know why, it drives me insane. But number one is so many agents are so worried about getting into the luxury market that they forget to make money. Like doing open house, and I'm in a luxury market to begin with. Our average median price point is 1.1, and we have agents that have been on our team. I don't think any of them are on our team now, but we have agents that have been on our team that will go after the $10 million market when they're brand new and literally don't know anything. It's like, why do you need to be 10 times higher than the median home price? Is a $25,000 commission too low? Like, I don't understand this at all. So I just see it so much where agents will, and your market is going to be different wherever you're at. But an agent that goes after even double the price point is just stupid. You're competing against the best agents in the world at those price points, certainly in your marketplace. And why double it? And that's the number two thing. Number one is they worry so hard. They worry so much about what their average price point is going to be that they literally forget to make money on the way to getting to this average price point. And number two is they try to raise it way too high. Don't double your median home price. Okay, so here is how I actually raise our average price point of our team, and I do this methodically over time. And that might sound boring, but it works. I would rather get rich for sure than rich fast, because nobody ever gets rich fast. Now, when you're raising your average price point, guess the easiest way to do this is to raise it by 10%. So if our median home price is about $1 million, our goal, if we're trying to raise our median home price, should be to make our median price, instead of $1 million, get it to 1.1 next year. So that is a 10% increase in price. Now, a 10% increase in price is also a 10% increase in income, in revenue, which is a relatively big jump for doing nothing else different. Now, if you also get better at conversion, if you also generate more leads at a higher average price point, that's going to make a huge difference too. But I would focus on raising it by 10% per year on average. Don't try to double it over 1 year. It's just why do it? I think one of the biggest things that's funny is that experienced agents that make a lot of money already are really hesitant to try to raise their average price point because they don't want to break something that's not broken. They don't want to try to fix something that's not broken. And it isn't the best way to make more money. It's just not. So anyway, that's my advice, is to do it slowly but surely over time, to where in our market, if you started at the median home price of $1 million and then you raise it by 10% next year, you're at 1.1. Within 5 years, you're going to be at $2 million. Like, God forbid you waited five years to get to double your price point and you actually made money the whole way there. Now, that's the how do you generate leads in a higher price point market. That's how you raise the price point. You generate leads literally in a higher price point. So if you're door knocking, you were door knocking in this neighborhood, the average price point was $1 million. You're going to walk across the street, door knock this neighborhood, the average price point's 1.1. Maybe they're 300 square feet larger, and that's the only reason they're a higher price point. So you did some deals over here, and then you started trying to do deals here and here, and then you raise your average price point. You don't go from, in our market, you don't go from, I don't know, Mission Viejo to Corona Del Mar and try to go from $1.5 million average price point to $5 million. Just stupid. But agents do it all the time. But you can let the other agents do that so that you can actually make money. Yeah, so you knock on doors, knock on more expensive doors, you call more expensive houses, you buy ads in more expensive zip codes, you do all of those things. And again, in my market, you've probably heard of Newport Beach, Laguna Beach. Even if you're not there, I don't buy ads, and I don't pay for ads in those areas because I don't want a $5 million average price point. I don't want to go after that. I'd much rather go after single family homes in Mission Viejo that have a $1.5 million average price point, which is just barely above the median home price for the area. Again, if you're in a lower price point area, I apologize, but it is what it is, and that's our marketplace. You could also run ads in single family homes versus condo townhomes. You could, if you're talking to sellers, you could run ads that are, instead of doing down payment assistance for buyers, you could run ads for downsizing sellers that probably have larger homes, right? There's all kinds of different ways to do this. But my biggest piece of advice is do not try to raise it too much and don't do it all at once. All right. So we talked about generating more leads. We talked about raising your average price point. That's why we put those together, is because what they're kind of, at least the raising your average price point is really only on lead gen. All right. Now, how to convert leads at a higher level. The short version of this is you follow a sales process that actually works. Most real estate agents are recreating the wheel with every single lead that they get, and they can't figure out why. Sometimes people say yes, and sometimes people say no, and they can't figure out why. Well, it's probably because you're following a different process literally every single time. So instead of doing this, with our team, I have an entire sales masterclass in that school community I talked about. So if you haven't done that yet, go to onyxhomes.com/school, join that community, totally free, but it has our sales masterclass. And the two major things in there, I simplified what I did to sell $1 million in GCI in my first 2 years. And I simplified that down to 2 different trainings that we do. Number one, first and foremost, is the closer framework. So this is, you're clarifying like when you're having a conversation with somebody, you're first clarifying why they're looking to move in the first place. We're trying to find their motivation and timeline. Once we know that, we can label their pain point, why they're moving. Once we've labeled their pain point and found out that what we heard was actually correct, we can overview what they've done so far to make the move happen. Now, based on everything they've shared with us so far, we're able to sell them the solution that we think makes the most sense for them. We can explain away any of their concerns, and we review what they agreed to the next steps. So that is the closer framework. Obviously, it's very abbreviated, but that is what it is. And all the scripts and everything are available, as I mentioned. So now that you've set an appointment with this closer framework, so my company that's the language that we speak in. Did you clarify? Did you label their pain point? Did you overview what they've done? Oh, well, what solution did you present to them? So the next thing we do is we talk about our sales process. And this is where anytime you set an appointment, this sales process starts. It works for all lead sources. It works for everything. And it's very simple. It's 3 steps. Number one is you meet them. The easiest way to increase your conversion ratio is to meet more of the appointments that you set. It is much harder to increase your conversion on the back end. It's much easier to increase your conversion on the front end. So here is a pro tip, is if you meet 50% more of the appointments that you set, it will equally increase your sales as if you raise your close rate by 50%. Like literally, it's the same thing. And it's just much easier to meet appointments that you've set than it is to try to learn how to close or increase your close rate by 50%. So our sales process is 3 steps. Number one is to meet them. Number 2, we say win at the job interview. That very first time you meet them is when you get hired, yes or no. And you just don't get to cash your check until they actually close. So number 1, meet them. 2, win at the job interview. 3, set next steps. And the most important part of this is that they agree to. All of this training is available in that school community. If you want to check it out, go for it. I think it is some of the most simple sales training out there, specifically for real estate agents. All right, now last but not least is earning higher fees. This is on here because I would rather you get to the closing table more often rather than trying to do this first. If you're already successful, if you're already selling houses, this is going to be probably the easiest way to get a 25-50% bump in your actual revenue. But if you're not already doing a ton of deals, I would not focus on starting here. All right, so let's dive into this. So earning higher fees, I translate this to giving a better experience to your customer is going to earn your higher fees. Now, this is also what happens prior in the hiring process. So this doesn't mean listing the home better, right? Because you're already hired, you've already negotiated your fee well before you listed the home. This means your sales process needs to be so dialed in that you earn higher fees. This isn't because you're such a good negotiator. This is because your sales process gave such a perceived higher value that you're going to get higher fees by default. So we do this. I'm going to put this screen share up on the screen here. I say there's a value and commitment time. I'm going to say timeline. It's the wrong word, but value and commitment. There's high value and high commitment, and then there's low value, low commitment. And the offer that you give to them when you're setting the appointment is going to determine, are you asking them to do something that is high value, but also high commitment? So for example, for us, that is a buyer strategy session or a seller strategy session. And on the buy side, The middle value, middle commitment is window shopping, which is let's go out and tour some properties. And then the low value, low commitment is like, okay, I'll just send you market updates every month and we'll touch base once a month, right? That's a very low commitment, very low value. We'll send you listings, right? That's what every real estate agent does that, and it's just not valuable. So your actual way to earn higher fees is to make your sales process, one, significantly more valuable to the customer than the competition. Most real estate agents will hide behind their, you have to hire me before I'll give you any information, before I'll give you any value. I think it's total nonsense. We give tons and tons and tons of value up front to our customers. And then when it comes down to asking if they want to work with us, we very rarely get pushback on, especially our buyer agent commission. I mean, very rarely. And we have a higher average commission than a lot of people in the average marketplace. And it's because we provide way more value up front. And this is where show, don't tell becomes incredibly important. So what I mean by this is we literally, we make a lot of content like this for you as real estate agents so that you can see how we actually do business, but we do the same thing for consumers as well too. And the people that want a higher level experience are going to probably pay more for that. So our content is all geared towards a premium luxury experience, not price point, premium luxury experience, so that we attract the people that are higher quality leads. This goes back to lead generation, of course, because your lead generation is also going to affect the fees that you make. Let me give an example. This is tying everything together. I know an agent that makes content all over the place, and their content is slamming real estate agents, that real estate agents make way too much money. They don't do very much. They don't do whatever. Well, this person is a real estate agent, and they make content that bashes real estate agents. And they say real estate agents make too much money, which is fine. I think a lot of real estate agents do make too much money because most agents aren't very good at their job. But beside the point, this person consistently generates leads from social media, which is fantastic. However, the lead quality, the people that this person is inbound receiving, these are people that also agree that real estate agents make too much money. They want to pay very little fees. They want to overprice their properties, and they're a giant pain in the ass. And that is because of the value given up front. What you give out is going to attract what you get, if that makes sense. The stuff you put out is going to attract what you get. So if you put out really high quality stuff, if you put out that you are a very premium luxury service, nobody goes into a Rolex store and complains about the price. Nobody goes into a Rolex store and expects a Casio price. But if you go into Casio price and you see a Rolex price tag, you're gonna lose your mind. Like, why would anybody pay $15,000 for a Casio? They're $15, and that might be too expensive. And that's all from perception. So those are the four major tactics you have. You can generate more leads, which is the number one thing you probably should be focusing on. You can increase your average price point, which is probably the last thing you should focus on. You can increase your conversion rate across the board on all lead sources, which is probably my second favorite. And then you can earn higher fees. And if you're already very successful, earning more than 150,000 or so in GCI, I think that you're generating more leads. You probably could double your income, and your fees on those deals, you can easily get a 20 to 30% bump right there. Now, if you like this video, I made another one for you that is implementing your business planning strategy. So if you're right here trying to figure out how to make 25 your best year and you have not dialed in your business plan, I'd go watch that next video. Again, my name's Christian. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you in the next video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you there.